It's bad from centre, it's clear.
Is it?
Yeah.
I know they do confetti and stuff like that.
It's just for Sean tonight, but the councillors can't answer.
Yeah, you're right.
Turn out tonight, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll make a list down now, because I'm not watching it.
All right, Rob. Nice, the freaking gave off, aren't they?
Oh?
The freaking gave off with volleyball tactics.
Okay, everybody, if we're ready. Can people hear me? So, in accordance with the requirement of the Local Government Act 1972, the Town Council is required to hold a town meeting which can be attended by the electors of Hemsworth, Fitzwilliam and Kingsley. The meeting will be chaired by the Chairman of the Town Council, and the agenda is as follows. 1. To confirm the minutes of the annual town meeting held on 23rd of May 2023. I'll leave all the minutes there for everybody to look at. Item 2, Chairman of the Town Council's report. I wasn't really going to do a report because I think we're all aware of situations well publicised of the Town Council and the services it has provided over the last 12 months. However, I've been asked by a couple of councillors if I can read something out, so I will do that, and I'll read something out that I was going to prepare at the time. So we received an email today from Councillor Bates. I am requesting at the meeting tonight that the Chair issue the following corrections to the misleading comments made at the AGM and misinformation that has been spread amongst the public by individual councillors on social media. 1. That the Council, under my leadership, neither authorised any transfer of capital from reserves for any purpose. 2. That the Chair was never consulted with regard to any financial transactions nor signed any authority of such. 3. The Chair informed every councillor who subscribed to emails of the financial situation and produced account figures that show the Council had saved approximately $180,000 up to January 2024. 4. That no Council employee was dismissed during the previous Chair's tenure, and any employee who left did so voluntarily and received no payment other than their entitlement under their employment contracts. 5. There is no unaccounted for missing funds, and that depletion of reserves is directly attributable to decisions approved by the Council in office during the period of 22-23. that the Chair correct the statement he made at the AGM in that the sale of Club Terrace is not a year behind where negotiations were before. In fact, the Council approved the terms of sale in November 23 and the full Council were kept up to date with progress and gave their approval of it. 7. That the Chair explained how he intends to speed up the sale and what qualifies him to have a better knowledge of land sales than our expert agents at Sanderson's Weatherall. I will respond to 6 and 7 on there. So what I actually stated and what I actually meant was that when we left the council the previous year, it was left to vote. If that vote had been progressed then we would have been 12 months in front of where we are now. However, I do agree that all decisions were brought up with the council. As for the Chair's explaining how he intends to speed up the sale, I've never said I was more qualified than Sanderson's Weatherall. Never, I'm not an expert. What I said is, well, we need to get on with the sale. I never said we want to speed up, we need to get on with it. Additionally to that, Councillor Bates has emailed again saying, it was my intention to seek a retraction from the Vice Chair following my email request related to a comment on social media, which she has refused. She claimed in the post that some councils have been excluded from decisions made by the council and others have publicly made the same claim. This is untruthful. As you know, it is defamatory. I request you advise the Chair that no decisions requiring approval by the full council have ever been made without full inclusion. And please explain why, if not possible to do so. I would also request that you remind council of the requirement under the council code of their obligation to be truthful and act with integrity at all times. I further require this request and responses be minuted in detail. Any comment to that, Councillor Rushmore?
No.
Thank you. The next statement is from Councillor Kevin Conway. He's asked me to read this out. Unfortunately, I cannot attend tonight and carry out my duties to my constituents due to the new Chair's environment of hatred, intimidation and threats he has created and refuses to address in a recent email. He says, I won't let anyone attack you. I will stop it and report it to the police. Yet Monday he was here brazenly declaring, Conway will be the next to go. I'm on it. He has neither the inkling or the physical prowess to stop any would-be assailant. But apart from that, I find the intimidation and threatening just as damaging again. He refused to stop this. Therefore, I cannot attend again. Clear victimisation and discrimination. I would like the clerk to supply me with all my complaints I have made, re-intimidation, threats, abuse and mockery made at me. I will take them to the police to see if they can do anything, as HTC are clearly refusing. I would also like this to be read out at the meeting to be made public, just what has occurred under this Chair's watch. There has been a few replies. I will not read them out. What I will say is, on Monday, I walked my dog on my own. I then came down to this building. I sat with some members of staff. I then spoke to one member of public with Councillor Rushmore there. I was then in meetings all day with council staff up till 3:34 p.m. when I went home and cut Ricky's teeth. So I refute those allegations and accusations strongly. So that's the readouts from the councillors. So now I'd like to go on to my statement. Really, I didn't really want to do a statement. However, I felt we needed to. So, hello everyone. So firstly, I kindly request that all recordings be directed towards this table, as we have a responsibility to the public and any individuals who do not want to be filmed. It is okay to film, it is well within the parameters, but however we request it is done on the table, as there may be people in the public who do not wish to be filmed and videoed. I want to clarify that my intention was not to make a statement at the parish meeting. This meeting belongs to you, the public, and should focus on the questions that you wish to ask. During the annual meeting last week, there were inquiries about the finances, which I will defer to the clerk to address shortly. Earlier this week, the clerk, deputy chair and I had a productive meeting where various topics were discussed. One suggestion made was to attempt to reduce all budgets by 10% except for the wages budget. While we cannot guarantee this, the clerk has agreed to try and strive for this goal, and it will be challenging, but we are optimistic that some savings can be made. I would like to remind Council that this meeting is for the public to ask questions, so I will prioritise inquiries from the audience. However, if you wish to respond or answer a question, please raise your hand. Lastly, this message is directed to everyone, including councillors and the public. Improving the situation will require the input and cooperation of all individuals who are working towards the same objective. There will be decisions that some may disagree with, and that is acceptable. It is fine to challenge these decisions and express your opinions, even if they are critical. Disagreement is not considered as bullying, and as long as it is done respectfully. However, baseless accusations, harassment, or the use of inappropriate language are not acceptable. I urge everyone, both councillors and the public, to engage in honest debates, but I will not tolerate any form of bullying, swearing, or harassment from either party. Councillors will receive warnings, and if the behaviour persists, a vote may be conducted for their removal of the meeting. Similarly, members of the public may face consequences, including bans for such behaviour. I am requesting that a boundary be re-established so that we can all collectively progress forwards to enhance our community to its rightful status. So that's the statements read. The next item is on the agenda, so obviously Andrew's going to get a update on there.
So the chairman's asked me to provide a little bit of information about the reduction in balances, which was reported at the annual council meeting last week. The reduction is around 260,000, which is made up of around 120,000 reduction in income, 120,000 increase in staffing costs, and a few items of other expenditure which have contributed. The 120,000 reduction in income is predominantly at the water park and lakeside. Drink income is down around 40,000, food around 60, entry fees around 15, and toy sales down around 5. The £120,000 overspending staff costs includes a number of confidential matters, so I can't really go into any more detail on that. But I've made a note of a few additional items of spend, including the new boiler at this building, which was around 8,000, the parts of a walking fridge at the lakeside, which were around 5,000, more than 40,000 on the repairs at Play World, some emergency mower repairs of around 3,000, and a new dishwasher, which was around 6,000, which mostly constitutes the 260,000 reduction.
So item 3, matters raised from the floor. So this is your part to ask the question you want to ask. So please ask that you put up your hand and we'll get around to you. And when you ask, when we think of you, please give us your name, please. Thank you. So, Donna at the back.
I still need to give a name then.
Yeah, full name.
Yeah, question for me. The clerk just said there that you've gone into your reserves by 260,000. The statement from the chair said that there were no decisions made outside of council. Which council meeting were those reserves approved in, please?
Various meetings.
And is that minuted?
It should be minuted, yeah.
Okay.
So, Mrs. Hurd?
Maxine. Right, I know you said you couldn't, it was private and confidential matters about the money going from staffing. Can you say whether it was this year's or last year's?
It would be this year's staffing.
So, basically, what's been put on Facebook is wrong then, about staffing matters and stuff. Can I also ask, In April, we approved the park and we paid for it 31,000, nearly 32,000 pounds. I've looked and it's like gone over that amount. Can you tell me why it's gone over that amount?
I'm afraid I can't, off the top of my head now.
Where would it?
Additional works needed.
Where would it agreed? And why? I've got the pack for what we agreed, what we needed doing. Can I ask why then that hasn't been done? Because the slide was on that pack and stuff, and it's not been done. But yet you've paid 10 grand extra on this bill.
I'm sorry, I don't.
I mean, we passed it in April so that it could be opened in May for Easter. But it's still not open. And you have spent £41,000 on it. So I just don't understand. Can you also tell me, there's some figures going around Facebook, I don't know whether you've seen them, but are all these figures correct?
Chair, if they've come from me, yes. If they haven't come from me, I can't confirm or deny.
Right. Okay, thank you.
So, Linda first, I've done quite well.
So it looks as though various items that were paid for in this last financial year were from earmarked reserves. Is that right?
Not from earmarked reserves, no.
Right. But from reserves.
From reserves, possibly. Yeah.
Is there at the moment any earmarked reserves?
At present, no earmarked reserves, no.
Right. Are there any liabilities at the year end? Contingent liabilities? For instance, Sanderson Weatherall have not been paid for at least a year, so they'll be expecting a payment for all the work they've done. Has provision been made for that in the reserves?
Provision hasn't been made from reserves. However, there is an agreement with Sanderson Weatherall that payment will be on completion of their works.
So that will fall into this year?
Which, yes, it would. But that would come after the sale of property.
Yeah, that's a capital receipt. So how will their bill be paid? Is it within this current budget?
I believe that's the case, Chair, yes.
So, same we believe, so the thing is that would be paid to the council on completion of sale, and out of that money, Sanderson Weatherall would be paid.
So it'll be
Deducted from the commission
from the
deduction.
income. Right. Is that part of the contract then?
When I was on the council originally, before it got changed, that he was going to get a percentage. I believe, however, that has now been changed and he will receive a fixed fee.
I don't know. I don't think that's true.
That could be wrong, I'm saying that's as I believed. Okay, there's no change on it.
So I mean, it's been a while. If I was Sanderson Weatherall and I was wanting a sale, will the sale go through this year, do you think?
It depends on what Sanderson Weatherall comes to. There's a meeting in a couple of 3 weeks or so. Within the month there's a meeting where the clerk, myself and another staff member will be going through to discuss things with Sanderson Weatherall and other people there.
And can the council now proceed with the sale of the land without the competence power?
I believe so, Chair.
We believe so.
But you're not sure?
Not at the moment, no. We will look into that.
Okay, thank you. Oh, just another one. From my calculations, it looks as though about 94% of the wages for last year, 94% of the precept is taken up with the wages. Now last year, for some reason, the council stopped publishing any of the wages costs in their monthly expenditure reports. Do you not think that's part of the public interest to know how their precept monies have been spent?
Yes, it could be. It could be. I'd have to, in terms of the opinion of the council, really, on that one as to whether it should be published.
And as for why they were stopped, you'll have to ask the then temporary clerk at the time and the chair of the council.
I asked the clerk at the time, and he said he would start publishing them again, but they never started being published again.
So-
Yeah, apologies. We'll action that.
Back to that one, okay.
Thank you.
Maxine?
So, dreaded source area, I understand that there might be some more litigation with them. Is this, when do you know, have you got any information on it for us?
No, nothing to report at the minute.
No,
we have been in discussion with a representative of theirs,
Yeah.
and it'll be reported when.
Can I also ask, the money we got from the last litigation? I know you weren't involved in it, Andrew, but do you know where that money went?
I do. So, as part of the disposal of the land on Kirby Road, we did receive a sum of around 180,000 from memory from Soul Construction, which was invested in the CCLA property fund.
Because it was that depleted, wasn't it?
Not especially depleted, no, but it was.
But we spent how much they were on legal fees. It was like 120,000 for legal fees and stuff. I can remember that bit.
Legal fees regarding the
Soul
cemetery roads. I can't remember the exact figure, but it was certainly in excess of 100,000.
Yeah, it was over 120,000, so that took a big chunk of that 180, I do remember that, but I just thought I'd put it out there, being all over Facebook. Also, another thing as well about illegal transactions. I don't know whether you've found any, but a councillor has put out about illegal transactions, and I would like this clarified whether there is any. If you can find out, please, and can I have a correction from the thing? Because that is an accusation of.
Yeah, I mean, the legality of transactions will be part of the audit process as well, so that.
And yet I'm sure Karen King and Little Johns would have found it, but obviously one of your councillors decided to just slip it in there.
Any other questions? So, Carol?
Yeah, just being made aware of the 180,000 that Andrew, you said went into reserve.
It did go into reserve, yeah, but it was invested.
But last year it was in council, and Jean Eccles, chair at the time, did a motion to put 150,000 of that back into reserve. Did that go back into our reserve for council to use?
It was no, it was invested, and that's where it remains.
Yeah, then I'll check minutes and get back to you with that, Andrew, then.
So, Kathy next.
Yes, on last Thursday's meeting, when you, not you personally, but when the clerk said about, you're not here?
No, but we can hear you.
On last Thursday's meeting, the clerk made a statement about the reserves of it being 85,000, and then you mentioned a figure of 200,000 in investments. So is that 200,000 in the interest account, or is it something else? Have we got something in a interest account and then something in investment?
Yes,
Or
that's the 200,000 that I mentioned is basically the rough value of our current investments.
so
with
what
the
do you mean
CCL.
by investment?
CCLA.
It's the CCLA property fund. It's money invested in that
So
basically.
200,000 would also include that 180 then. So
It
really, you're only saying that 20's gone in to up it to 200.
I believe the value was around.
As if you're saying that
yes,
you've got 180, that there was 180 from Souls,
yes.
that means
Plus
that
whatever was in it before. I think it was around 230 originally invested.
yeah,
But the current value is around 200, which would
Right.
yeah.
so that's a lot of money that's gone out of that account then.
No money's been taken out of that account.
Well, it's gone down. If you're saying that there was 180 in there or more, it's only 200. Does everybody agree with that? What I'm saying?
I think what he's saying, there were 230 in, then there's another 180 gone in, so that's 410. Is that what your figures are? And now there's only 200, so it's 210.
So
where's it gone?
That's due to the just the value of the shares, basically.
So we've lost on shares.
Yeah, the value of the investment has gone down since we invested.
Is this why the accusations against councillors are fraud then?
Sorry, what was that?
Is this where the accusations come from, the councillors?
I'm not aware of what the accusations from council
Well,
are.
it was stated last week in this meeting that money's gone missing.
No money's gone missing.
Thank you.
It was said if
Said reserves were depleted.
money had gone missing, it be looked into.
Well, there were no accusations. There were no accusations in the council meeting, but there has been online.
There were plenty in the
So we'll go to Jolie, then we'll come back to you, Linda.
I think from my perspective, from coming to all the meetings and hearing everything about facts, figures, the amounts in this account, the amounts in that, what this community needs to know, should know, wants to know, exactly what is the amount this council have got left in the reserves. If it is as low as everybody's implying on all these social media figures, what has it been spent on? Where has it gone? We can all see what it hasn't gone on. The repairs everywhere are atrocious. So can you please tell us exactly, not this count, that count, what is left, the full amount in our Hemsworth Town Council reserves, the community money reserves, please?
It's 280,000.
Is that with CCLA?
That is with the CCLA, yes.
So we've got 220 in CCLA, so we've just got 60,000.
We've got 200 in CCLA, 80,000 in regular accounts. Bank accounts.
So Linda again, please.
So, I think what we can conclude is that last year there's been financial mismanagement, poor budgeting, and a lot of lack of control. Do you agree?
I would agree. Looks that way, yes. However, I will put out now that Andrew has only been the clerk since February.
I understand that, but I'll come on to this point. Councillors are accountable for assuring that the council does not spend beyond its means. That's you as councillors, not Andrew, you as councillors. I've seen very little involvement in councillors understanding the finances in any part of this year. Is that true?
Can you just repeat the last sentence, please?
I said, I've seen very little involvement of the councillors actually understanding the finances in the last financial year.
And I believe this is the result of not having committees.
No,
I mean, again, yourself, you was on the council for a number of months.
I was there for a month.
A month, 2
A
months.
month.
And she was doing France for 3 years.
So, well, to my mind and to the legal laws of the land, the council are collectively, you councillors are collectively responsible for managing the finances of the council. Agreed?
Yes, do not disagree with that. All councillors.
Well, can I suggest then, this coming year you get some training and you take more interest and you actually employ an internal auditor to make sure we don't overspend again and that your recovery plan actually works.
There is an internal auditor already employed by the council. We have the accounts audited every year.
Yeah, we have them once a year. Can we have them in every month to check the accounts?
We can certainly have them more often, Chair.
We could have them more often again. That would come at a strict financial cost and
I think it'll be worth it just to make sure
Potentially.
we don't actually sink.
potentially.
Yeah.
Again, regarding saying we think we believe that the council, if it just looks after the finance itself, we won't sink. There is still the precept coming in which pays the standard wages. We are not going to. We basically watch what we're spending. That's all we've got to do. Not all we've got to do. But that's one of the main things. Excuse me, can I finish, please? That's one of the main things that we have to do. I'd like to move on now. So let somebody else have a go. Donna, please. I'll come back to you in a minute, Tina.
Andrew, I'm really sorry. I'm really struggling with the CCLE. You've got the deposit fund and you've got the property fund.
Yes.
So how much is in them both combined?
Both combined, I can't remember what's in the deposit fund.
Because the deposit fund was 230 last year, and the CCLA fund, the property fund was 237.
Yeah, that would have been the value of the property fund at the
At
time.
that time.
It was changed.
So it's the deposit fund that you're not sure
The
of?
deposit, I'm not sure of the balance of that off the top of my head.
That's fine, you're not making it. Can I just make a recommendation that the council maybe publishes their reports a little bit more often? And I know that wasn't the case when I was on, but we seem to have a lot of members of the public creating their own version of the accounts, and it does get quite confusing for people when they're sharing them with very little context around them. And I think that puts a lot of people at unease with what's being shared. It's just a recommendation from me.
I think that's something we might be able to take forward in time. Tina, you've had your hand up for quite a while, sorry about that.
Yeah, are public allowed to know how much you've been paying McGinty?
No, that's a staffing matter.
What do you think a lot of money's gone on in why?
We can't comment, that's a staffing matter.
Well, and
Sorry,
can you
we
tell
can't.
Fernie to stop filming Gary?
I'm not filming. I'm not filming.
That's a microphone.
I'm doing audio only. I'm not filming anybody.
Excuse me, can I have some order, please? So I have requested that it's pointed at the head table. I'm looking there, Councillor Fernie's got a microphone, not a camera.
Like you can't use camera though, doesn't it?
Possibly it is his microphone.
Well,
Kathy, you've got your name there for a minute, sorry.
Yes, obviously you've said, you made a statement that no, everything's agreed at council before you make a purchase. Just would like to point out that I actually raised that you'd purchased a dishwasher without that going to full council, and also statements was made by what was the vice chair that a lot of money had been spent in repairs, which actually hadn't happened. So there has been unauthorised spending done without the full council being involved.
I don't know there is a limit, I'm not sure of that limit where normal running costs can be authorised. Definitely by the clerk, I'm not sure if it needs chair approval. There's certain bandings in there, there's different tiers of where people
So, all this money that's been spent, can you all say that you have all been aware of that spending? Because as Linda's actually said, you're all collective responsible. So were you all aware of everything that has been spent? Have you all been consulted? Because I've attended most meetings and I'm not aware of a lot of these things that you've authorised.
I think Councillor Osborne wants to answer that.
Can I just say something else? Obviously, Tina's said, and I know you've said it's a staffing matter. So how was the acting town clerk? Was he employed? Has he come as a consultant? Was he on the payroll? Or does he send in an invoice?
He was employed.
He was employed by the council.
Yeah. So, I think Linda, did I have up first? Did you want to start?
So, to Kathy's question, in terms of spending, when we've looked at a list of what the reserves went on, some of it was prior to my council, me coming on to council. However, some of the things, we'd approved the spend, yeah. However, we weren't actively told that the spend was coming out of the reserves. So, yeah, with the exception of the extraordinary meeting, I don't know if any other councillor would like to declare whether they were told that the finances were coming out of the reserves at the point of approving what they had approved. But some of them...
I can categorically say that I haven't.
So who signed for it to come out of the reserves?
We did it in meetings, apparently.
Well, not with us. And again, not being funny, we were able, in the past, when you've had things in exclusion, we've then been able to ask that question and get a reply back. You know, we used to say about the previous chairperson, Mr. Kenyon and Mrs. Eccles, they did tell the public, when we asked them a question, they would tell us what had happened after the exclusion. This year, there's been nothing. No matter what you ask, it was, we can't tell you, we can't tell you. So all this about the reserves being so low has come as a total shock.
So in response to that, before we was on the council, it's fine, approved that the exclusion would be before the meetings. So this is where you come in, we open the meeting, we close the meeting, so that you could be told decisions. As for why those decisions may or may not have been expanded, then I can't say that. I wasn't the chair at the time. So I can't honestly answer that in good faith. But if that was the idea, then it's not a bad idea. Bit of messing about for public, I accept, but that is the idea.
We didn't get the answers. We don't get anything.
So do an openness or transparency
So,
all the way through.
Julie, would you like to?
I'm sorry to keep going on about a question that every member of public that you speak to, whatever's getting put on social media, I'm going to come back to the reserves. We know Andrew's only been in place since I think about February, Andrew, as full-time clerk. Who has actually been responsible for the astronomical disappearance and signing of the reserve monies cheques? Who signed for it, please?
So all money spent by BACS and BACS forms are signed by one member of staff and 2 councillors. So
are you able to say which councillors have been signing from the reserves?
No, not to me.
think Ian actually made a statement last Thursday's meeting that you said that you would sign for things. You actually made that statement.
Yeah, because I asked him.
I am a signator of cheques and any other bank documents. I am aware of everything that gets put out in cheques because it's always filled out before I even sign it. Then it goes to the clerk for signing as well. Who else signs that, I do not know.
Again, I'm going back to the previous council, Mr. Kenyon and Mrs. Eccles. Everything that was published online to do with the accounts, you used to have a signature of who'd actually put, because one month it would be Linda Pringle and everything, or Mrs. Eccles. You could see. We don't get that now.
I honestly can't remember that, Kathy.
Yeah,
that a name was put on there. Yeah. I am quite happy for my name to be put at the side of any cheques and things like that I sign. Yeah. I'm quite happy for that.
So, I've just asked the clerk and he says that's something that...
Trap 3, Barry kill John away quickly, following...
again, so sorry for that, Kathy. So, just phone the clerk and that is something that we can look towards doing again. Carol, please, if you don't mind.
Councillors, we all pass the backs. We all get the backs to sign off.
At the meetings, yes?
Yeah, so you can't just put it down to...
No, we don't physically sign them off, but yes, you're right.
We all look at them, so,
Agreed.
you know, we should have picked it up as well as other people. You keep stating that Andrew will come into this job in February.
That's correct.
And it's no disrespect. Andrew, can you answer, as the RFO, what date did you take the RFO roll up?
It was the 1st of February.
So what RFO when Alan Draper left?
It was the acting town clerk.
Thank you.
Between that period.
Maxine?
Can no disrespect to Ian, did you know what you were signing for, that it was coming out of reserves?
No, I knew what I was signing for on cheques.
But did you know it was coming out of reserves?
No.
So why wasn't you told?
Could
why didn't the acting clerk tell you it was coming out of reserves?
Right. I was asked to sign, I've forgotten the name, the CCLA form. Under our financial regulations, section 5, subsection 5, paragraph C, gives the authority to the clerk to transfer money from between accounts, okay? At that particular time, and I can't remember the date, it was explained to me that there may not be enough in the account to pay all the backs, which is wages. Now that would have been very embarrassing if people went...
Can I finish? But all the wages are budgeted for every year, so how was you short of paying wages?
I don't know. It was...
Can I just come in there, yeah, please?
Yeah.
So, wages, there has been an increase due to overtime required due to long-term absences. So there was an increase in the budget for all staffing costs, including long-term absence cover. Including. Can I carry on there?
So I don't understand why you were short on wages.
It was just before presets.
We were
Before we
budgeted
received...
for. I'm sorry, we were budgeted for. It was all budgeted for. And it wasn't just before preset.
As the chair has just explained, we've had extra spending to do this year with extra wages, long-term sickness, that had to be covered. Long-term sickness had to be covered. Some of the staff have had to do overtime to do that. We've had various spendings down at the water park.
As the clerk said in his original statement, we spent an additional, above budget, around £120,000 on additional staffing costs, including overtime. Including cover for absences.
Right.
Can I just ask, I can't have
Just
it
to
first.
Ian, just stated about this money and you signed for it. They said it won Mick. Can you confirm whether this was with Mick or with Andrew?
Should
we be naming? You did.
Shouldn't be naming staff, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't.
It was me that
Can't
named
comment
it,
that.
not Maxine.
Thank you.
Kathy?
Again, I know I'm keep going back to,
To the previous council, if money was taken from reserves, it was actually discussed in a public meeting, and we haven't been made aware of that. Why? Why haven't we been made aware of it?
I can only... Yeah, I can't say anything because I get myself in trouble, but yeah. Lack of miscommunication, lack of communication. That's all I can put it down to at the moment.
I would actually call it not being transparent.
I can only speak...
And that is something, when the new council came in, that what was said is that there would be full transparency, and there hasn't been at all.
This is what's been spread on Facebook.
I can't disagree.
About us.
Linda?
On the issue of transparency, I think things have actually gone downhill this year
I agree.
with transparency. I don't know what you councillors get for information, but you should be asking for more information from the town clerk.
We have been asking for information and we've not been, some of us have not been getting it.
Why has the town clerk not been giving you the information you need?
You'll have to ask the temporary town clerk at the time, sorry.
No, but even since February,
Since February we've received information, but prior to that we've not been receiving information.
so
Not all information.
so this must have come to light in February then,
What, sorry?
the overspend on salaries
No, you didn't.
and the reduction in the income over the summer in the water park.
There was an extraordinary meeting where we had to approve spending for various items regarding the park. I think there was an amount of money that was said to council, we will have to take this out of the reserves. Going back to the accusation we've seen on social media regarding the previous April's spend, again, that was for the, so let me get this right, that was for the repairs to the play world, to the paths, that sort of thing. And we was, because we actually, I think it was Councillor Martin actually went mental at the time saying that, look, we're getting this report after the budget has been approved. In future we need to bring that ROSPA report forward. Now that didn't happen last year, as for why, I don't know, I wasn't here. But that money at the time in April was discussed and it was said that it was coming from the reserves. So the two that I'm aware of, I know there's been other one bit sounds of it. One was previous council, like Kathy says, like Jimmy, Mr Kenyon and Mrs Eccles. And then the second one, we've had just again, almost the same sort of time, but a year later regarding, again, spending money at the park. Was again discussed within the council, but it was in exclusion, and Kathy's right, we did not get communicated.
Yeah, my question was really, did you get financial information about spend against your budget?
Not
And
that
the
I'm aware of.
variances?
Not that I'm aware of, but again, to me, this is down to not having committees.
That should have come to full council.
It should have come to full council, but however,
the councillors need that information to understand and take action earlier in the year if something like this is happening. Surely, why was this information not given to councillors?
I can't answer that. Sorry. Maxine, I'll come back to you, Tina. Then.
Can I also ask then about what you publish online? Because the monthly expenditure reports are there, but only up until the end of January. We're in May now. A long time ago, Kathy asked for reports, monthly income reports to be published. They're still not. They're part of the equation and they need to be published. If they were, we'd have picked up on it a lot sooner. And we could have told you if the town clerk wasn't able to, for whatever reason.
So that has been down to understaffing in that area. We have now put a thing in place, and the hope is it is hoped that will improve dramatically over the coming months.
It's a requirement, never mind a hope. It's a
No,
legal...
hope that it improves. It is put on, but it is a bit late. It's a hope that it will be
Well, it's
extended.
a legal requirement under the Transparency Code 2015 that expenditure is published within 30 days of the quarter's end. So that's March, it should have been there at the end of April, we're in May. We've only got January. That's a legal requirement. There's no hope. That's what you should be doing.
Taken. Noted.
Yeah, thank you.
Maxine?
So, as you know, last May I was elected as a councillor. I was only on a couple of months, but during them couple of months, I was not included in meetings. I was not included in things. Whenever I asked a question, they wouldn't allow me to ask questions. They never gave me financial advice, financial things, nothing. They kept them all to themselves, and I do believe that people in this room were in that group. So all this really has just been hidden from everybody, and I know some other councillors haven't been getting that information. So I just hope when this committee comes back, we all can find out what's going on.
Thank you. No.
Can I ask you, Councillor Ferney, are you aware of the financial situation?
No,
No, so you haven't been told?
no.
Do you know, Mr Ferney?
Not really, no.
So you haven't been told? And do you know about the financial situation? No. Do you? Oh, you know. Speaks volumes.
Is there any more questions from the floor? Carol?
Just the last one. Last week's meeting, this is for residents of Kingsley and Fitzwilliam. At last week's meeting, I proposed an amendment to hold some meetings at the Red Roof Centre in Kingsley, so residents in Fitzwilliam Kingsley could have easily attended. My amendment should have been voted on separately by the council. Instead, Sean, you ignored my amendment because you didn't let it go to the vote. You went back to the original proposal for a vote. This goes against our standing orders and was disrespectful. Also, the Code of Conduct states that all councillors need to approach decision-making objectively. You showed a bias against the wishes of the people who live in Kingsley and Fitzwilliam. These people pay a third of this preset money. And this is important, so how do you intend to amend this? And your standing orders, what you brought, what, 1E and 1K.
I would suggest if that's the case, you bring that to a council meeting, not in a public meeting.
This is for people of Kingsley and Fitzwilliam, this is what the
So, as I've just said, if that's the case, then bring it back to the council, next council meeting, and then it'll be looked at. As for regarding bias, I disagree with that statement. I don't know how you can say I've got bias as soon as I'm born and bred in Fitzwilliam.
Do you know what 1E and 1K are in standing order?
Off the top of my head, no, because I've not got them in front of me like you have yourself.
Do you want to ask Andrew to see whether you've brought them rules?
We haven't got them in front of us at the moment.
But you should do.
Not always. It's a this is not a council meeting. This is a meeting for the public. So
I am a member of public. I'm not sat up there as a councillor.
No.
I'm sat here for me as a member of public. I've asked you a question as a member of public.
I'm referring.
Not as a councillor.
I'm referring to you should have the standing things in front of you. This is not a council meeting, so no, I shouldn't.
But the question that you've just said, bring it to a council meeting. I'm not here as a councillor. I'm here as a member of public.
Okay, ask your councillor to begin to the next council
Right,
meeting.
as a member of the public, I'm asking the same question, Sean.
And the same
Are
will
you
be,
going to make
go, bring it back to the council. I cannot say nothing else. I cannot overrule a council decision in this meeting.
Are we not talking about council business in this parish meeting?
No.
It's not talking about parish business.
So as I've just said, please bring it to the next meeting. I'll get a council for the next meeting. Maxine, would you like to come in there, please?
Can I just state that when I was a councillor, I actually mentioned this about being biased, and Linda actually said you cannot be biased. So I don't understand why she's doing this now. And I've still got them emails if you want to see them. But for her to do this in public, our public meeting, is wrong.
No, Carol, no, I said no, so I'll let you respond.
No.
Okay.
It's all right, I'll put a complaint in.
Kevin.
Kev.
Right, Mr McGuinness, have you stopped getting paid for being on council like Sean did?
I don't get paid.
I
never have been paid.
He has never been paid.
I've never been paid.
Anyway, I wasn't here last week, Sean, I had other business on, only for the first half an hour. But I'd like to congratulate you and Becky for taking over, because him who were on before, stabbed us in.
Can I ask that you don't speak about council in such a way, please? Kathy? Sorry, yeah, Kathy, okay, this lady asks, she's... Yeah, sorry, love.
You know, you've just said that you've spent £6,000 on a new dishwasher.
Well, I didn't say that, but there was some money spent on a dishwasher, yes, I think, around that figure, yeah.
Have you not thought of doing insurance on any of your products? It's very little to pay insurance and you get new for old. That might, in the long run, save you an awful lot of money.
It's something that we can look into.
I
We can discuss
pay
it.
£1 a month and I would get a brand new cooker which is over £2,000.
Yeah, we can.
So I think
We can look
in
at
the
that.
long run that might be beneficial.
Possibly, yeah.
On big items.
Big money items, I don't disagree. Yeah, we need to look at what it would do to the amount of insurance it would cost us. But yes, I don't disagree with that. So, Kathy, you'll give the floor. So, you next. Thank you.
Yes, can I ask what is happening regarding the building in Hemsworth Town Centre? What was Dr. Jackson's? Because there's a notice on the door saying that it's closing. Obviously, we own that building, and I know they only pay a token gesture, don't they, for... So what's the reason for that now becoming empty?
So the tenants have vacated. The charity's closed and vacated the building. That's why it's empty at the moment. As regards what we're doing to it, that has not been brought to any decision by the councillors, any councillors yet at the moment. Anybody else?
No, not in for sale cafe. Not with them.
I can't see anybody. Anybody any more questions?
They're getting mixed up with front market, Sean.
With what, sorry?
They're getting mixed up with the one across from the market.
Oh,
The
okay.
YMCA.
No, it's not the YMCA. It's the old bank, that West Bank.
Sean, you've told us that it would be okay if you have a 10% reduction in non-staff costs?
Sorry, in non-staff costs. Well, in the non-staff, we are aiming. We're not promising. We are aiming to try and save 10% on any of the pre-approved budgets, with the exception of staffing costs.
As well as the percentage, can you give me the absolute figures then? How much budget is the non-staff costs and how much is the potential saving on that?
The hope would be to save around £45,000 to £50,000 as a ballpark figure.
And what about the income side of your budget?
As I said, we were just discussing about just the budgets that we could save on the moment. There needs to be further discussions and things like that would need to go to council. Tina?
What type of things are you going to cut back on then? What have you got in mind?
It's just cutting, so we're not going to cut back on anything that's already approved. Everything that's running now, the coach trips, the bonfire, that sort of thing, we are not cutting back on anything that is
Are they budgeted for?
They're budgeted for, they're in the budget, we're not planning on doing anything on those.
Yeah.
So we are just saying we are scaling back a little bit at Christmas. There'll be no float driving around the streets. And then we'll be looking for other things where we can just basically tighten the belts a little bit. But as it stands, there is no plan to stop any currently approved event or service that's being provided at the moment.
Can I just bring one thing up that bothers me? I help Becca with her nursery. I know it's not part of this, but how often does that floor get scrubbed? Because them kids' feet are black. I'm telling you now, they're absolutely black. I wanted to chuck a bucket of water on it the other day, soapy water. How often does it get washed that?
They're cleaned regularly, but I'm not sure.
It should,
It's
with
something-
kids being on that,
Yes, don't-
oil on the feet.
You're full of a fitness class in what been running around with the chainers and everything, and that's where you get muck and that from it. There's 12, 14 people running around, 20
And then
minutes
kids
before
pick it
yours.
all up. There's
That's
babies
20 minutes,
crawling
there's only 20
round.
minutes between both classes.
It wants cleaning
I
every
don't
week.
think it wants polish. It's that type of, yeah, but
One of them scrubbers.
yeah. I think it's like every now and again.
Babies, we have to like scrub it.
We can take that on board and we can have a look at that. We'll have a look at it, yes. Kathy?
I don't know whether you can answer this question or not, but obviously you're saying that you're looking at trying to reduce staffing costs or bring your costs down.
Not staffing costs, we're not staffing costs.
So we brought an acting town clerk in because Mr. Am I allowed to say his name?
No, but...
Right, well, the previous town clerk has left his position and we brought in an acting town clerk. Andrew, well, we've now got a clerk, we've now got a town clerk, an official town clerk. So are we still employing the acting town clerk? And if so, why?
We're not employing an acting town clerk, that's all we can really say.
Yeah, we're not employing an acting town clerk at the moment.
Yeah, but we...
Or is he then?
What is he then? Why is he still being employed?
So there is a couple of projects that he is working on. There is a timeline that he has agreed to himself, and then they will finish. I can't tell you that timeline.
And is he being paid the full amount?
No, he's paid, no.
He's
There's a
getting
reduced,
there is a reduced...
has been the case for quite a while. He's not working full time. That's all I can say at the moment.
But he's the
He's not getting
dropped.
So, for example, he's not working 1 hour a week and getting paid for a full week's pay. No, he's not. He's getting paid the appropriate hours that he works.
So, why does he have to finish that project then, whatever he's been involved in? If it's legal, then you've got your solicitors, you've got your barristers that know the case, so you don't need someone here. They will have everything. They'll have all the paperwork. So moving forward, the town clerk should be able to pick up and complete whatever it is.
We agree, and there has been a timeline agreed for a complete handover.
Are we allowed to know that timeline?
No, sorry.
You know,
It's not significant.
last year when that temporary clerk, as you call him, come, you asked him if he was qualified.
Yeah, when I say in public, yeah.
You did ask him and he said no. So why come
To be a clerk, there is actually no legal qualification required.
That's what I meant to say. I lost my line. Yeah, but you did ask him and he said no. So why is he still here?
Can't answer that at the moment. So if I just go to the gentleman here, then I'll come back to you, Tina, because he's not had a question yet.
wanted to say, if he's not qualified, he should be on minimum wage, really.
There is no actual clerk qualification.
When there's a change of financial officers, is there an audit process that takes place to make sure, such as a due diligence type of thing, to make sure that the town clerk hasn't got his hand in the till before he leaves, and that the new town clerk gets a fair start?
There isn't a specific audit for that process, no.
Well, that's hardly financially prudent, is it?
I think we can all agree that of the last year or so, there's not been a lot of financial prudence.
Well, the thing is, there's been a lot of reproaches here that could include the present town clerk and any of the past town clerks. If you had some kind of audit process at the change, you would then be able to say, that took place in that period, and that took place in this period. It's a no-brainer for me.
There's been no transparency, Gerald.
Okay, no, noted. I can't really comment on that, Gerald.
Well, let me ask you another question then. How are we going to get some financial prudence in your next tenure here? What? I mean, you've had a week since the meeting, 4 days. You didn't seem to come up with any kind of plan to say, well, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. We've heard what everybody else has done, but not what you're going to do.
So, as the chair of a council, you have no more responsibilities or powers than any other councillor. We chair this meeting, more or less.
Sorry, this is not an individual. When I say you, there's a collective.
So this is where we believe that the bringing back of the committees will bring in such financial prudence and other things. I do believe, under the previous one and I don't mean now, I mean previous, independence, if you want to call it for a better word, the committees there didn't work because the committees was basically just another full council meeting. This council now as it stands, they didn't have any committees and we found ourselves as we are. So I honestly do believe that bringing in committees, especially the finance committee, it will, especially the people on the finance committee and the finance chair, it will give them the direction and the focus on that committee. Because currently what happens is, or previously what happened is all councillors just got all these emails regarding everything, all coming in main council meeting. We've been split, the people who have an interest in the finance side or the rec and leisure side or the policy and plan side can then concentrate their efforts on those parts of the committee.
Well, with all due respect, the public have been asking questions all this time. The council are quite entitled to ask questions at the same time, so why haven't you asked these questions?
Fair comment. Kathy, you were next.
I'm sorry that I seem to keep asking the same question, but obviously I'm remembering things. In the statement that you read out from the previous chair, it was said, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it said that they received less funds, etc., etc., and it was in a bad situation. The AGR was signed off, and that wasn't brought. It wasn't noted that the reserves were in a bad way. I hope you don't mind me mentioning your name, Donna, but when Donna made her her statement, the last financial statement, you were left with good reserves. And it said that in the AGR that was signed off. When things are being said, it isn't what was told in meetings that we've attended. When it finished and the new council came on board, Joe Bloggs, the public, were under the impression that we'd got a lot of money in reserves. So I'm still questioning.
I was just going to say, so Donna will know almost exactly what we had in reserves at the time.
If you remember when we took over, the last meeting that I did, we did say that there was money that was going to come out of reserves in my term, and it was going to take those reserves down. The AGAR report won't show that, because the AGAR report was pre-April. So in April, this council did actually see some items that we'd approved, those are my words, we'd approved that came out of the following financial year. Now, at that point, when the council came on, we were assured as a public that they've got experts now on the council and they were going to look at that. It did take them a while to sign off last year's AGAR until June. It was signed off and there was nothing put out at that time that said the previous council had spent money and we've had to pay it in this financial year. Those experts did not spot that. We told you about it.
Your auditors have a responsibility
and they've told you, yes.
to put that on that report.
And it will be in this year's AGAR report, whenever you get it. I don't know, around this time, won't it?
Yeah, it's not coming out of the AGAR report.
There was never any lack of transparency that we said there is more money coming out of those reserves. What I couldn't do is guarantee when that bill would come in, and it came in April, and that was coming out of the next financial year.
Could I also add that that previous council put the staff's wages up, but that was not budgeted, but that was well before that report. So for the last financial year, it was budgeted.
Just to address on the wages, so we have put a particular set of staff up by a particular percentage. If you compare those staff 1 year to the following year, you will get that exact same percentage. As I've already commented, that's simple maths. What you can't take into consideration is that you may pay overtime. You may take on more staff because you're not in a COVID year. All those things need to be taken into consideration before statements are put out. And I'm sure that Andrew would be welcome to provide that if anyone writes to him with a freedom of information request.
I think Linda had her arm up first.
On the freedom of information requests, I've been putting them into Andrew now for quite a few months and not receiving much back. Again, that's a legal requirement. It's Freedom of Information Act. There's a deadline of 20 days to respond. You've got, the council has its own policy on freedom of information as well, which is, it's not being compliant.
So regards to 20 days, it's 20 working days, not 20 days. So that's, I'm not saying that's the reason.
I stand
No, I'm just saying because
okay.
people say 20 days, it is 20 working days, but
So
then...
I've been waiting 4 months. That's well over 20 days, 20 working days.
So
I keep being told by the council that all I have to do is write in with a freedom of information request.
So we
and I get nothing.
Okay, so we
I've
apologize.
written again, I've written to you, Sean, I get no response.
So we apologise for that, and we are doing our best to improve that situation at the moment.
Can I just say, in my opinion, there was a vendetta against Alan, and now...
Sorry, I can't let you, sorry.
You know what I mean. And
I can't let you.
now it's going on...
I can't, sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Hot Neil Clerk.
Maxine?
In my opinion.
If the freedom of information went in 4 months ago, Andrew went on.
That's also very true.
That's what I'm saying.
And Andrew needs to...
Yeah.
We
said- Yeah, we're starting to get into accusations of this, and we need to stop that.
That's right.
So go on, Maxine.
So, like I just said, 4 months time to go in.
Can we just, we'll have to stop, well, not stop meetings, but
I just want you to read section 14 at Information Act.
we will.
Information Act.
Again, also, we have been low on staffing recently, and there is things in place now where we're hoping that will dramatically improve over the next few months.
Maybe
As soon as possible.
So don't amend it to matter line against
Tina, you know I can't, so can you please not?
Well, what about
Sorry.
Gary, for instance?
Tina, I can't, sorry, you know I can't. I do apologise. Do it at the same time, go on, Kathy.
Can I just thank you all for answering the questions, because it can't be easy. And all I will say is that moving forward, I hope that everybody can turn this round and be transparent and work together.
So that's what I said when my opening statement is it needs everybody to work together, including public and the councillors. We will disagree, we will make decisions that people do not like or do not agree, and it's fine. Call us useless, that's fine, because that is your opinion. If you don't like us, that's fine, that is your opinion. However, we cannot continue the way we have been with abuse, allegations, counter-allegations, swearing, all this. It needs to stop and it needs to go together. I have actually heard, and I'm going to go down, that the South Ely parish meeting is run brilliantly, smoothly, with the councils and public all trying to work together. There's disagreements, and that's fine. Let's disagree, but do it in the correct, respectful manner. So Carol, I'll up first.
Yeah, you've just been asked about FIOs, sorry. It's my understanding that public can either write to the clerk or the deputy clerk, not just the clerk. Am I wrong, Andrew?
It depends who the email's addressed to, I believe.
Yeah, that's what everybody does, so one or other should be replying to her. It's not just put down to the clerk, it's put always in that email, or it's got sent to. Can you confirm that? Because residents are now thinking that they've just got to write it to you, Andrew.
We haven't got a deputy clerk at the minute, but yeah, in theory, members of the public can email members of staff.
Thank you.
So, Tina?
I just want to say, I can't move on, and neither can Gary, because of the vile WhatsApp group. And I think best thing Gary can do is walk away.
I would.
We have been called about our granddaughter. No.
So
it's vile.
This council got himself embroiled in something that should or shouldn't have happened. I believe this council or people on this council should apologise, however they didn't. I don't disagree with you, but I can't discuss it.
To be called braided
I agree.
when we're buried as 5 months
Tina, I fully sympathise, and I do, honestly, but I can't.
No. And they've all sat there and watched it happen, and you, Ian, a professional.
Tina, no, sorry.
Not professional.
Julie?
Can I just clarify?
There seems to be some confusion as well about FOIs. Can I just confirm with Councillor McGuinness, the times I sent my FOIs in, I CC in, and always have done, the Vice Chair, Councillor McGuinness. Am I right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. And they have been to the acting town clerk. I think only since the town clerk in full post, he's always replied to mine straight away. I have on occasions had to contact Councillor McGuinness as to why acting town clerk McGigney hasn't been replying to them.
Can we stop naming names?
Sorry, the acting town clerk.
Yeah, we're making accusations and...
Yeah, sorry, and council, I'm just trying to make a point that it's not everybody else, it's not just the certain residents that are not getting their FOIs answered. We've all been waiting quite some time for some replies. Mine personally, have always come back from the full-time clerk now. I have had to follow up with the vice chair, or was had to follow up with the acting town clerk, why I've had no replies. So it has been a problem getting back your FOIs back to the public.
So, as we've just stated previously, we are looking to improve that massively. Gerald, can you?
Yeah. It's just a suggestion, but there seems to be a lot of these FOIs not being answered. Might it be better that every
Scott,
council
can I just suspend the meeting a moment, please?
on the agenda?
Can I just suspend, not cancel it, can we just suspend the meeting, please?
Gerald,
There's something happening outside, we just need
Gerald,
to
there's
suspend
something
it.
happening outside.
So it's nothing to do with you.
Like a Brian Rick's files. Meeting.
So that it can be monitored. And then nobody can then, I mean, we're getting months and months.
Yeah, what we used to have to discuss what was mentioned in the advisory, so that FOI from there, is what we do.
On multiple agenda and monitor them. So you don't
What happens when we shut off these nasty Facebook groups up? Dr. Jackson. So what happens then if it is found to be a councillor that's behind these Facebook groups?
There's nothing we can do.
Nothing you can do?
Nothing legally we can do.
It's social media that's doing it.
I don't agree.
It's all about people on social media.
So we're just going to pause the stream at the moment. Yeah, we'll be coming back on.
Recording stopped.
Don't concern yourself with it, Joan. It's not to. Just concern yourself with council business. If you don't on social media, you, like me, don't even go there. Leave them to it. They're vile. There's some vile people. I've started gardening. I just garden. Yeah. Yeah. He is now the full town clerk. He's Mr. Andrew Clerk. No, he's new, yeah. He is now, yeah.
Fucking weekend, I've had enough.
We've had an acting town clerk, prior to that, he had an interview panel. I believe he went through an interview process. Yes.
Well, you're in that process?
No, they were a proper panel.
Because today, the questions that's being asked of him, he didn't know the answers. And I'm thinking, if he's my treasurer,
what's gone off with the previous chair and vice chair, he's actually said that there's been a lot of questions asked where it's only been certain people that's been privy. A lot of these councillors haven't known any of this was going on. So it's not that gentleman's fault.
No, I'm not saying
No,
it is.
no,
It-
but I know
the
it-
answer
yeah.
is that was
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. Yeah.
They said that what action they were going to take.
They've answered, I don't know. I can't tell you. I don't know that. Should they have all this information in front of them?
There's a lot of work to do. You'll notice there's a lot of councillors not here anyway. Yeah.